Brazil hasn't always worn yellow and green. They used to play in white and blue, right up until they hosted the 1950 World Cup. Needing only a draw in the final to claim the trophy on home soil, they lost to Uruguay. The defeat was such a shock that they completely redesigned their kits to purge the memory of the white jersey. Today, that gold jersey is the primary pillar of Brazil's national identity. For this country, the World Cup isn't just a sports tournament, it's a national mandate. This timeline tracks Brazil's championship drought, starting with their fifth star in 2002 and stretching 24 years to today. In 2014, there was the 7-1 collapse against Germany on home soil. That was followed by consecutive quarterfinal exits in 2018 and 2022. These three tournament cycles suggested that the traditional pipeline of domestic coaching had reached its limit. The historical reliance on local management was no longer yielding results on the world stage. So, in 2025, the Brazilian FA broke a century of tradition. They hired an Italian. Carlo Ancelotti arrived with 5 Champions League titles to his name, the most of any manager in history. But he also brought a distinctly European methodology. While Brazilian soccer culture typically rewards fluid, improvisational attacks, Ancelotti's systems are built on rigid tactical structure. The CBF is betting that a European tactical system can fix the defensive cracks in Brazil's game without stifling their creative identity. Ancelotti's first move was to address the defense. He moved away from the top-heavy offensive squads of previous years in favor of a more balanced, conservative base. He filled the roster with veterans, securing goalkeepers Alisson and Ederson, and anchoring the defense with Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhaes. To protect that backline, he brought back Casemiro. The Manchester United midfielder had already spent years executing Ancelotti's tactical vision at Real Madrid. These selections demonstrate a shift in philosophy. Ancelotti is deliberately prioritizing defensive stability over the traditional Brazilian desire for constant attacking flair. That focus on structure led to difficult choices with the next generation. Ancelotti left several highly touted youngsters, like Joao Pedro and Estevao, off the roster to maintain his tactical balance. But there was one exception, the 18-year-old forward Endrick. He provides the raw scoring instinct that Ancelotti needs to complement established starters, like Barcelona's Rafinha. Linking this new youth to the veteran core is Vinicius Jr. Having played under Ancelotti for years, he understands how to balance individual brilliance with defensive responsibility. Ancelotti's approach ensures that offensive explosiveness is only utilized if it doesn't leave the defense vulnerable to a counterattack. Then there is Neymar. Ancelotti chose to include the 34-year-old star, despite his recent history of severe injury. This chart tracks the $90 million transfer fee paid for his move to Saudi Arabia in 2023, but a torn ACL limited him to just 7 appearances over 2 years. He returned to Santos just to stay in contention for this tournament. While he is no longer at his physical peak, Neymar provides a veteran presence in the locker room and draws defensive attention away from his younger teammates. Including him is a calculated gamble. Ancelotti is betting that Neymar's experience and psychological impact will outweigh the risk posed by his recent injury history. The final 26-man roster reflects a specific tension, a squad that pairs the high-risk creativity of Neymar and Endrick with the rigid discipline of a veteran backline. This hybrid system will be tested immediately in the group stage against Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. The margin for error is slim. Just days before the opening match, Ancelotti had to replace the injured winger Wesley with Atalanta's Ederson. If this system delivers a 6th star, Ancelotti will have validated the decision to break with a century of tradition. But if the experiment fails, it will be remembered as a rejection of Brazil's footballing soul, a modern chapter of the same tragedy that began in 1950.